Welcome
to New Entry Wrestling Podcast, baby. Welcome back to New Entry Wrestling Podcast. I am your host, Sexy Ian, with my co-host, Jose. What it do, baby? What up, man? Thanks for
What's going on?
Being on the show. But this is you're gonna be the co-host now, man. How does it feel?
Oh wow, that's a big. Thank you for that.
Yeah. Well, think ever. He wants to go on vacation again. Jeez. I'm gonna start, and you know what? He has our merch account. Our PayPal merch account. So I have no access to that. So for all I know, he may be using that money. So I'm gonna have
get the board investigating that.
But anyways, Money in the Bank. Oh, and then speaking on vacation, not only has he been on vacation, he's gonna go see Money in the Bank this Saturday. Jeez, this guy.
Look at that, living it up.
Oh my gosh. So let's go ahead and read the lineup for the Money in the Bank so far. Day of recording. So far, we have Bianca Belair versus Carmella. Ooh, Money Mella for the WWE Raw Women's Championship. We also have Ronda Rousey defending her SmackDown Women's Championship against Natalya. We got the Usos versus the Street Profit for the Undisputed Tag Team Championship. We got Theory versus Bobby Lashley for the United States Championship. And we got not one, but two Money in the Bank ladder matches, men's and women's. So for the women's, we got Lacey Evans. Oh, she's in it? Oh yeah, she was she got qualified. Was she always? No, she was a last minute replace, right?
I want to say she had a qualification match either last week or maybe that tag team match that was on SmackDown this Friday, because in the arena they never announced it.
Oh yeah, I think she teamed up with Raquel, right?
She teamed up. It was a qualifying match or not. All I know is after they won their match, I could see it on the big screen on the graphic that they were added onto the graphic for the women's Money in the Bank match. Okay. So I think out of that win, they both qualified for that.
So we got Lacey Evans, Alexa Bliss, Liv Morgan, Raquel Rodriguez, Asuka, Shotzi, and then most likely Becky Lynch is going to be the last one. So for the men's, we got Seth freaking Rollins, Drew McIntyre, Sheamus, Omos, Sami Zayn, and three other people who's going to be added. Who do you think? Obviously, the day of recording, we're not sure, but by the time this is out, most likely they already announced it. But who do you think is going to be the last three?
I got a feeling Ali may be one. Okay. Or what they could do is, or what more likely they'll do is they'll take, for at least for one of the spots, take all the guys that lost their qualification match and give them like a last chance match. But I don't know how they're going to do that one, if it's going to be a 4-way, a 5-way, or like some kind of elimination match to get that last spot. But I got things. Ali, one of them for sure. I don't see Riddle on the match card, so it wouldn't surprise me if maybe they could throw him on there. And
see, I was thinking the same thing. Maybe that's why they had. I don't understand why Roman Reigns is not going to be at Money in the Bank. It's weird also that the fact that it was supposed to take place at in a stadium, and it's like, why would you not have Roman Reigns there? And, right. Okay, and yes, now you guys are in an arena. Again, why don't you have Roman Reigns there? He could have had faced Riddle, and that probably would have helped with ticket sales, But because Roman Reigns versus Riddle is the only story they really have going on, and even though Roman Reigns is not really there. So
and that's kind of been showing a lot more of what the other guys have been able to do too, is the fact that they can work off of that story without the antagonist being there, without Roman being there. It's kind of like same like KO and Austin. Austin only did a few video promos, but he was never in the building with Kevin, and Kevin carried that whole feud and that whole storyline, on his own. So we're kind of seeing the kind of like the similar thing here, where Riddle is kind of doing a lot of the carrying and the lifting of this storyline.
But the thing is, the story ended.
Yeah.
And then for Austin and Owens, it was leading to a pay-per-view event where Roman Reigns and Matt Riddle, it was leading into what we thought was going to lead into Money in the Bank, which just lead into a SmackDown match.
Right.
And
in that part,
the story is ruined, and they probably rushed it and said, you know what, we're not going to do it because apparently Randy Orton needed surgery for his back injury.
Yeah, that's the rumors
which took him out. We're not going to see him for the rest of 2022. So, because he was supposed to face Roman Reigns at SummerSlam. So I guess that's why. So Riddle was going to face Roman Reigns at Money in the Bank, and then he was going to face Randy Orton. But I guess with Randy Orton out of the picture, it was just like it kind of ruins the story. But it's like Riddle could have gotten that big main event push, if he would have faced Roman Reigns. Now it's just like, okay, but I mean, there's a chance he may be added to the Money in the Bank ladder match. But I feel like a singles match for the title against Roman Reigns would have been a bigger push for him.
A bigger draw.
Yeah, a bigger draw too. And also, it would have been a perfect way to end that story and feud between RK Bro and Roman Reigns and the Bloodline. I mean, just for the time being, because who knows, when Randy Orton comes back, there may not be any RK Bro, but would you really? I'm pretty sure they would be, because I don't think Randy Orton is going to be like, yeah, I just had surgery on my back and I kind of want to do less on the RKO, meaning let me be on a tag team so that way Riddle could do the RKO.
Right. And do other stuff that's not going to impact his back as much.
Right. As a single wrestler. So
I mean, maybe he might have to start bringing in a new finisher to kind of offset the amount of damage he takes from doing the RKO.
I would say,
that'll be weird. That'll be weird, because I can't think of, like, out of everything else that Orton had in his arsenal. I mean, he could use the punt kick, bring that back,
right,
to make that as his finish. I
would say use the hangman DDT off the ropes.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, he lands on his back, but comparing to the impact from RKO, it's not that bad.
Yeah.
And
especially for like some of the spots that he does it from, where he's coming in from a high spot and just falling straight on his back.
Right. Or he could still do the RKO, maybe like a top rope kind of thing.
Right.
He has him hanging.
Like the draping.
And then he just falls on his back instead of jumping. So he could, or he just do the regular diamond cutter, because diamond cutter is he just falls back.
Right.
RKO, he jumps with it.
Yeah.
And lands hard on his back. So there's a huge difference. So it's just more of how he lands.
Right.
So he could just turn it into a diamond cutter, just fall with it.
Right. And just do it like that. So yeah, I mean, there's ways, or maybe just break it out like that, like on occasion, like when it's a big match or it's a big feud, to kind of bring it up and kind of make it more like a novelty kind of thing. So that way everybody can be like, oh shit, we just saw an RKO.
Yeah. I think also a good move with him. I mean, he hasn't done it, but I feel like it'd be a good fit for him if he does the execution. That would be a good move for him. What do they call it? The Imperator DDT
the
or
Impaler.
Something?
It was the Impaler first.
Impaler.
It was the Impaler first. That's when Gangrel did it. That's what it used to be called.
So I could easily see him doing that.
Yeah.
And then Randy Orton's tall enough where a DDT for him to be a finisher makes sense.
Yeah, it could look good.
Yeah. But if you had a choice, so
like I said, it's kind of hard to look at this list and see like which other three would make sense to put in this match.
Right.
Like I said, I want to put Ali in there just because one, I want to see him get a bigger push, and he's kind of been mixing some of these stories as far as like how he's been
the only
portrayed.
Reason why, for me personally, the only way, he had that mini feud with the Miz, and then it just got dropped. So now, if the feud was still going on with the Miz or even Theory, and now I would say have Ali in there if either the Miz or Theory was in it,
right?
Because at least that way because at least that way Ali could have that moment where it's like, oh, he's gonna win, but he gets screwed by either Theory or the Miz, and then that leads into, SummerSlam. But just having him in there, no, not really. Honestly, I would prefer Kofi Kingston.
Well, I was gonna say too is because looking at that too, given the nature of this match and how they've usually been structured, you're gonna need a high flyer in there to do like the high spots. So
I'd rather have AJ Styles, Ricochet.
I was gonna say Ricochet could be another one that they could put in there as well. AJ, I would love to see him in there if possible, or they can make it work to where it's a storyline going in. So yeah, it's kind of like who do you plug into these three spots?
Well, so normally we do this we were gonna do because ever. So I'm gonna give you. So we were gonna do this episode like a fantasy booking thing, but Ever didn't record his part. So I'm gonna give you my version of fantasy booking, right?
Okay.
And I want you to think what you think of it. So the way how I would book Money in the Bank ladder match or Money in the Bank overall, the whole pay-per-view, I will open up the show with Edge versus Finn Balor. Okay. In my fantasy booking, Edge is still the leader of Judgment Day. Now, the purpose of this match is if Finn Balor loses, he must join Judgment Day. So I will have this match go maybe 15 minutes, 20 minutes. Towards the last 3 minutes, it looks like Finn Balor's going to win. Finn Balor's going to go on the top rope, hit him with the double stomp. But Rhea Ripley shows up on the ring apron, looking at Finn Balor, just giving him a look. And then just staring at each other's eyes. Finn Balor just gets off the top rope. Like, he doesn't hit his finisher. He just gets off the top rope and walks towards her and just stares at her. And then just turns around, has his hands, raises his arms up, basically telling Edge to spear him. Edge hits him with the spear. 1, 2, 3. Finn Balor is part of the Judgment Day group now. So now it's Damian Priest, Edge, Rhea Ripley, Finn Balor now. So next match, I will have, what's it called? Oh, sorry. Backstage. AJ Styles backstage with somebody who's interviewing them, whatever, giving your thoughts of Finn Balor, what just happened, blah, blah, blah. It's like, I'm speechless, whatever. Because AJ Styles, he's part of my Money in the Bank ladder match. But he's gonna say, I don't have time for this. I have a Money in the Bank ladder match to win, blah, blah, blah. So obviously it's leading up to something. My next match, I'm gonna have Ronda Rousey versus Natalya. And for this one, I will have like a good 8-minute match, but I will have Natalya go over by DQ. So that way, Ronda Rousey versus Natalya 2 at SummerSlam. Natalya wins by DQ. I'll have her, bring a chair in. There's a ref bump. Natalya brings in the chair, but Natalya, misses. Ronda Rousey takes the chair from her, hits Natalya. Ref sees that, DQ. Natalya wins, but she wins the match, but not the title. Next match, I will have the Money in the Bank ladder match, the women's match, and now I have this one's tough, but I'm gonna give it to Becky. So I wanted to give it to Rhea Ripley just to continue the whole Judgment Day thing. But I'm going to give it with Becky. Have Becky win the briefcase for this one. The next match, I'm going to have the Usos. I just realized I should have given you my lineup of the matches, but it's all right. Too late now.
It's all good. We'll go
so The next match is going to be the WWE Undisputed Tag Team Championship. The Usos versus the Viking Raiders versus the Street Profit versus the New Day. Have this go 8 to 10 minutes. Usos get the W, hitting a 3D on the New Day on Kofi Kingston, and getting the 1, 2, 3, retaining the title. After that, I will have who's next? The Raw Women's Championship. I will have Bianca Belair versus Asuka. Go 12 minutes on this one. Bianca Belair retains, beats Asuka, and then as soon as she's celebrating, holding that title, Becky's music hits. She's coming out, but she just walks to the ring, doesn't go in the ring. She just walks to the, to the ring apron, and then just holds the briefcase and then just walks away. Just basically letting her know, I got your number.
Right.
I can cash it in whenever I want to. I'm not going to do it right now. I'm just letting you know I can cash it in, get my rematch, and beat you whenever I want. So, a quick tease, and that way we can see her cheeks one more time, before she walks out.
Let me say something on that real quick. And that actually would be a really nice nod to how when Asuka won the briefcase and it had the belt in it when Becky had announced that she was pregnant. So that would be like a nice little touch to that.
See, what I wanted, I was thinking, since it's fantasy booking, I could book it however I wanted, but I was gonna have Asuka win the title and then Becky come out and cash it in on Asuka. But I was just like, nah, I prefer because I'm trying to build this fantasy booking to SummerSlam. I hate, because I could easily said the whole Judgment Day is done, it's over. But it's I kind of want to lead into something where it's I kind of want to lead into a purpose of canceling, because I hate when they're just yeah, we're not doing the storyline. You can lead it into something. You don't have to just drop it. So, but I feel and then plus I'm trying to recreate a moment with Asuka and Belair with SummerSlam. Because how Becky cashed in. I mean, Becky showed up at SummerSlam and beat her in 10 seconds, 15. I'm trying to recreate. I'm trying to recreate that moment, but except it's with the Money in the Bank briefcase.
Right.
So, and then that builds up to a bigger event for next year SummerSlam, where it's I'm getting this match because you basically made me look bad. Back-to-back SummerSlams. I was supposed to face somebody. I think she was supposed to face Carmella, right?
When SummerSlam last year?
Last year SummerSlam.
Sasha.
Was it Sasha? Okay.
Yeah.
So she was supposed to face Sasha, and then Becky shows up and beat her. And I was gonna have, Belair face whoever, and then she beats her, but then Becky comes out, cash it in on her, and beats her in 10 seconds again.
Right.
And then trying to build up this feud where it's in my fantasy booking, I highly thought I was going to remember this, but have Belair win Money in the Bank, and then she cashes in on Becky, and then she beats her in a lesser time.
Right.
So it's yeah, you beated me 30 seconds this year. That year you beat me 20 seconds, but this year I beat you in 5 seconds. 6 seconds. Let's make it reasonable because you need a finisher.
Set up a move, hit it, and then do the 3 count.
The 3 count. So let's say 8 seconds, which is that's more embarrassing than everything you did to me combined. So
right.
But that's long-term booking. So anyways, what was the other match? So Belair, Becky. Oh, and then the next match is gonna be so this one, it's the Roman Reigns versus Matt Riddle for the Undisputed Championship. No DQ. This one, I was going to have Paul Heyman come out. So this is a rematch from the match that they had on SmackDown, but Roman Reigns wins by DQ. Sorry, Matt Riddle wins by DQ. So that's why they get the rematch, and it's a no DQ match. Paul Heyman comes out saying, nope, we're the main event. We were supposed to come out. The next match, they're going to have the ladders ready. They're having the ladders ready because the match was supposed to be next. was the Money in the Bank ladder match. But Paul Heyman comes out and say, no, we're not going to wait for whoever wins tonight. And then afterwards, Roman Reigns is going to come out and then beat Matt Riddle. And then that person's going to cash in on Roman Reigns. No, it's not going to happen. We're going to have this match before the ladder match. So Roman Reigns comes out. Matt Riddle is like backstage freaking out. Like, what? I'm not ready. I was supposed to go, we were supposed to go. We're closing the show. And you're telling me we're next? What? So he comes out not prepared. And the match goes like 8 minutes. Because obviously Matt Riddle was off guard. And so it doesn't go long, but it was still a good back and forth match. And then, this time Roman Reigns brings out a chair and hits Matt Riddle. And, kind of like a deja vu, what just happened on the previous SmackDown, how Roman Reigns hits him with the chair and stuff like that. And then he sets up a table on the corner and spears Matt Riddle through that table, and then gets the 1, 2, 3 and walks out, and he leaves. And we follow him backstage, going into the limo and driving off to make sure he ain't in the building. Nobody tries to cash it in on him.
Cash in on him.
Yep. Then obviously it's the ladder match and stuff like that. And then who do I have in my ladder match? I have Seth freaking Rollins, Kevin Owens, Bobby Lashley, The Miz, Drew McIntyre, Sheamus, Madcap, and AJ Styles. Madcap, I'm gonna have his moment is gonna be when he's climbing on the ladder. Everybody's down, making it look like he's gonna win. But Happy Corbin comes out, hits him with the end of days, and walks out. I was gonna have the Miz. So speaking about Ali earlier, Ali. So I was supposed to, like I said, I was supposed to give you my lineup first, and then I was gonna give you my stories. But anyways, Ali was supposed to be part of this Money in the Bank brief ladder match, but kayfabe injury, the Miz took his spot. So the Miz is climbing up the ladder, and now Ali's coming out and hopping, pushes the Miz off the ladder, and then the Miz is out, building up their feud for SummerSlam.
Yeah.
And everybody's back in the ring, going back and forth, and the last person who's climbing up the AJ Styles climbing the ladder, and Seth freaking Rollins hits him with a low blow curd stomp, and what's it called? Sorry. Finn Balor comes out. Jeez, I'm all over the place. Finn Balor comes out to stop AJ Styles from winning the briefcase, but AJ Styles, Finn Balor doesn't do anything. He's just there to distract them. And then that's where Seth Rollins hit him with a low blow, curd stomp, and he climbs and then wins the briefcase, celebrates, and then we hear the music. Whoa, whoa, whoa. So yeah, man, that's my fantasy booking for Money in the Bank. We were supposed to do like a poll, like here's my version of fantasy booking and Ever's version, but somebody didn't record his part. So anyways, I win by default.
There you go.
So what'd you think about my fantasy booking, man? Give me your honest opinion.
Dude, that sounds like a really solid setup. Unfortunately, like I said, right now we got Edge and both Finn out. Edge, I don't know if the injury is kayfabe or not, as far as why he's out, or maybe they're just taking him off to cool him off before they bring him back as a face. Finn going into Judgment Day, I definitely saw that was going to happen.
Right.
And
I just didn't like how it happened.
How it happened. It felt rushed. It felt like it was no story behind it, because I really want to see Finn not just do a darker role and maybe bring back the Demon,
right?
Because they got to do like something to redeem him, because the last time he was on TV, it was just bad with that whole botched turnbuckle smoke thing in this match against Roman. So they got to find some way, especially since this is kind of like a dark group, maybe incorporate that in there. But overall, man, that sounds like a fun show to definitely watch and see like how some of these stories would have been able to play out.
Yeah, like you said, there was I really thought Finn Balor was gonna join Judgment Day, like either Edge convincing him, or I thought he was gonna had a feud with AJ Styles,
Right.
SummerSlam, because that was the rumor that he was gonna turn on him, but how he got Judgment Day to turn on Edge, it was just like, I get it, because Edge he didn't like the direction that was going,
Right.
and also he needed to take time off from his injury. But it's just like, again, it was rushed. Edge could have just had Finn Balor join the group, and then a month or later, Edge could have just been a manager.
Yeah.
And then eventually they could have turned on Edge once he got better, or
Right.
But no, they just rushed it. Anyways, before we go into the trivia, what is your prediction and who do you think is going over? So let's start with Bianca Belair and Carmella.
That was easy, Bianca. There's no chance on Carmella winning, or I don't see it being put in kind of capacity to win. Like, if you look at it, even at some of the stories that would have been happening, I don't see a fit for her there as a women's champion.
I mean, she was women's champion before.
She was, but it was more like comedy stuff with her. Like,
she was a diva.
The direction that they're kind of going with this, as far as making Bianca look strong, giving her strong opponents. I don't see Carmella being up there to be that. I mean, before Rhea got injured, she looks like it was going to be her. So maybe down the line, she'll be the one to actually dethrone Bianca and have a run with the title, a much more successful run than when she was Raw Women's Champ.
True.
Before.
What about for the SmackDown Women's title? Ronda Rousey or Natalya?
Ronda, same thing. I mean, like I said in previous episodes, Natalya, great in the ring. She can put on a great match, but just does not have the personality to carry a championship like that.
I think Ronda, but I want Natalya to win. I think she needs another run as a champion.
Right. I would love to see her do another, but like I said, I just want to see better character from her, better storytelling. Just again, seeing it live and seeing the dark match, because like I said, I posted the dark match on a thread for us, so that way we could kind of get an idea as to maybe what to expect. The match was solid.
Right.
They linked up well, they worked up well, but just character wise, again, that's another part of this, business that, they got to be able to carry on there too. And as long as she's been there, you would think that by now she would have gotten a better clue as to what her character would be, instead of just being a heart.
Yeah, that's true. That's all she is she's just like a heart family. Usos versus the Street Profit.
Man, that one's going to be a banger. But it's got to be the Usos. I mean, unless there's something that they're going to start undoing the bloodline, that could be the only reason I could see where they would take the titles off the Usos to kind of start that storyline of like the bloodline falling apart. But that's probably going to be top 3 matches of the card for sure. Just because those two teams working together, it's just going to be high spots. It's going to be high action. It's going to be fun.
Yeah. I think the Usos going to get the W. Theory versus Bobby Lashley.
Theory by fuckery. I mean, just because.
I think this match. I think Lashley's gonna win, but I think Theory by DQ though.
Right.
I don't see Theory beating him clean unless he cheats, like, roll up with holding the tights kind of thing.
Right.
But I think to save both people, I think somebody's gonna I feel like it's gonna end in no DQ.
Right. Or some kind of like fuck finish. Theory uses the oil that they've been using lately since they've been doing all the close down stuff. Use like the body oil, the baby oil to throw it in his face to blind them and stuff like that to kind of like get a cheap win out of it. But I don't see Theory losing the championship in this. That's the main thing.
Yeah, no.
Especially if they're going to go into him and Cena, which again for the US title, which would be a big title to put in the storyline since Cena has a history with that title.
That's true. Lashley has a history with that title too. I mean, nothing compared to John Cena, but he is a former US champion. Let's see. Who do you think is gonna win for Money in the Bank, men and women's?
Men's is interesting because the person I would actually want to see win, and because of how his storyline is kind of developing, is Sammy. Because of the whole part of him being the guy that's kind of being like the lackey to the bloodline, and kind of like saying like he's an ooze, he's part of the bloodline, he's in with them,
right?
And how he even dropped hints on it on SmackDown, saying like if he wins it, he'll be the one to guard it, to protect the bloodline, and then he kind of let the Freudian slip out, about cashing in on Brock Lesnar, and Heyman just gave him that death stare. I'm like, okay, that's the kind of storyline that I could see definitely happening, where Sammy wins it, he's holding on to the briefcase, and then at one point where they turn on him, making him a face, or he just does some sneaky shit that just tries to cash it in on Roman.
Right. See, I'm glad you said that, because I was gonna say the same thing too. I feel like Sami Zayn's gonna win it. If Cody Rhodes was in it, people were saying Cody Rhodes was gonna win the Money in the Bank. I feel personally, I think they would have been a bad call, because I feel like if Seth Rollins was in the match, I feel like he should have won it.
Right.
And then, that would have been because that would be something that Cody Rhodes will always have over Cody Rhodes' head. Personally, I think Seth Rollins is gonna win it, just so he could take the title away from Roman Reigns. Because if it's something like quick, well, there's two people, Drew McIntyre. I feel like if it's gonna be like just take the belt off Roman, Seth and Drew McIntyre. Storyline wise, Sami Zayn, because I feel Sami Zayn will, he'll do something similar to like how Daniel Bryan did it on the Big Show.
Right.
Or, so it's like I feel like that's how Sami Zayn would do it. But if I had to just pick one, I'm gonna go with Drew McIntyre.
Okay.
Just because of the big event in the UK, and I feel like he'll just cash it in to ensure he gets his title shot. Yeah. And it would be, if Roman Reigns is gonna drop the belt heading to a pay-per-view, Drew McIntyre is the perfect guy for that, and also the show overseas is a good place to do it.
Right.
So, all right. Well, before we go, we're gonna do the trivia question. Oh, go ahead.
The women's. No, I forgot the
women's.
women's.
The women's. Go ahead.
So for the women's, who I want to see win is Raquel.
Okay.
Raquel, I want to see her win just because, again, it looks like they're putting some steam behind her, pushing her to probably be the next one to either take the title off Ronda or eventually be a face in that women's division, which, again, they really do need a strong future to build on. They got it with Bianca. They got Bianca building up. Raquel has the potential. Other than that, I mean, I know they're trying to push Lacey Evans, but it really comes off cringe. And this is me as a veteran saying that it comes off fucking cringe.
Yeah.
Alexa, she just seems like she's there just to be there. Liv,
nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
Liv Morgan, I'm going with Liv Morgan. I think Liv Morgan is going to get the W.
She might be the dark horse for me. My dark horse pick. I mean, I got Raquel as the main pick, and I would probably have Liv as the dark horse to win. Because Asuka, she just came back, and it looks like they're maybe with her and Becky. So with Asuka in the match, like I said, I feel that her and the storyline is just run out with her and Becky, and they kind of been doing the one-upsmanship. So if let's say Becky is the last participant in that match, they're going to be canceling each other out and taking each other out. Shotzi, she might be the one to actually be like the high flyer of that match, and probably takes the crazy bumps because is
she a high flyer though?
Well, not a high flyer, but she's one to not be afraid to like jump off of something to take a dive.
Oh yeah. Okay, I get you.
So like I said, like these matches, you always kind of want to have. They're gonna do a high spot, like a high fly spot, like a big crazy dive. So if anyone is gonna really like do it, it'll probably be her.
Okay.
So that'll probably be like her role in the match more than anything.
See, else. I wouldn't be surprised if she wins it too, but I feel Liv Morgan. Again, If I gotta pick one, Liv Morgan is the one I'm going with, and then the dark horse is gonna be Becky. So that's my pick. Becky Two Cheeks. Hey. But all right. Before we go continue, listeners, please go check out our merch store, teesprings.com. Search for New Entry Wrestling Podcast. We got some pretty cool shirts, masks, and posters, and one of those water bottles things too. Also, please follow us on IG, New Entry Wrestling Pod. We're also on Spotify, Google, Apple Podcasts, and if you're listening to us on our YouTube page, please hit that subscribe button and like this video, please, because I need money. So, but anyways, Jose, you ready for some trivia questions?
Let's go.
Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. I don't have no paper. Hold on. All right, Jose. What is this stuff? All right. First question, Jose. Bear with me because I didn't read these questions. So, question number 1. I don't even know how many questions there are. Which WWE superstar was credited for the coming up with the idea of Money in the Bank match? Is it A, Edge, B, Jeff Hardy, C, Christian, or D, Chris Jericho?
It'll be Le Champion, Chris Jericho.
Yes, sir. You got
the many things he's created, according to him.
And he never won Money in the Bank ladder match either.
No, despite being in it, he's never been one to actually win.
Yeah. And the characters that he played, the gimmicks that he had, there's a lot of them you would think it would have been perfect for him to win it.
Right.
But he never did. Yeah. Which is weird. All right. Question number 2. Who won the first ever Money in the Bank ladder match? Is it A, Chris Jericho, B, Edge, C, Kane, or D, Christian?
It would be Edge.
Yes, sir. Correct. Man, those are 2 easy questions. Gosh, Ever, you gotta come up with difficult questions. All right, question number 3. Who was the first superstar to lose his cash in? Is it A, Edge, B, Mr. Kennedy, C, John Cena, or D, Damien Sandow?
Who was the first one to lose
his cash in?
Okay, that would have been Sandow.
Unfortunately, sir, it was John Cena.
Damn it! I knew it was. I knew it was one of them.
It was John Cena, good sir. That's all right. So 2-1.
All right.
Who beat Otis? Oh, this one should be an easy one. Who beat Otis for the Money in the Bank contract? Is it A, Dolph Ziggler, B, The Miz, C, John Morrison, or D, Kevin Owens? Kevin Owens is, answer this question first.
It would be the man who has the wife I think we all wish we had, The Miz.
Facts. Man, you saw her cheeks on Instagram, man?
Oh, who hasn't, man?
Man, I was like, it's my wallpaper too. But yes, The Miz is correct. And Kevin Owens is another superstar that I'm surprised who never won Money in the Bank.
True.
So, all right, next question. Who cashed in the same night as winning the Money in the Bank contract? Is it women's edition? Is it A, Charlotte Flair, B, Carmella, C, Asuka, or D, Alexa Bliss? Bliss. You are correct, sir. You got 4 right and 1 wrong. Not bad. Next question. Who has competed in the most Money in the Bank ladder match? Ooh. Is it A, Dove Ziggler, B, Christian, C, CM Punk, or D, Kofi Kingston? Who has competed in the most Money in the Bank ladder match?
I'm going to go with Dolph.
Unfortunately, it's Kofi Kingston with 7.
That would have been my second one. Yep.
He's actually tied with Kane.
Okay.
So the day of recording, he's 7, and so is Kane. So who knows? Maybe if he's added to this one, he'll probably be 8.
Yep. He'll pass it.
Is that something to be proud of that you completed in that much and you never even won once?
Poor Kofi. But then again, Kofi's been that guy in that match that's had that spot too, where he's just gonna do something crazy or take a crazy bump.
Yeah, that's true. All right. Who was the fastest superstar to cash in their contract? I guess this is the male edition. Is it A, Kane, B, John Cena, C, Dean Ambrose, or D, Randy Orton?
I'll say Ambrose.
Ambrose? I can see why you say that, but the person was Kane. Kane. Okay. Yeah. What does that mean? I don't know. I gotta ask him because I don't know what that means.
Yeah, because I know Ambrose, he won at that same Money in the Bank and then cashed that at the end of the night. That's when they said all 3 members of the Shield held the World Heavyweight Championship on the same night.
So did Kane.
So that's what I'm trying to think. Which show was it that Kane cashed in
2010.
Oh, okay.
He cashed in on Rey Mysterio.
Oh.
Yeah, it was it 2010? Yeah, 2010. So,
okay.
But my thing is, what does he mean? I mean, he wrote down as Kane as the answer.
Maybe the kind of time from when the match ended, the Money in the Bank match ended to when he actually cashed in, maybe is what they're measuring.
Well, from what I can remember, the Kane. So when Kane won, that was the opening ladder match. Like Kane, when the ladder match that Kane won, that was the opening match, and then there was like 2 or 3 matches after that, and then there was Rey Mysterio versus Jack Swagger, and then that match was like 10 minutes. So, so this had and then when was the Dean Ambrose? That match was only like 50 seconds when Kane cashed in on Rey Mysterio. It was like 50. It was less than a minute.
Right. So maybe that's what they're counting on, is that from when the cash in happened, like how quick was the match?
The Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins, that was like 20 seconds.
Was it? I know it was fast too, but
yeah. So maybe it's the fastest to cash in, not the match itself, I guess.
Maybe.
So, I mean, yeah, because it was, I don't know. I gotta.
They both happened on the same night, so that's why and that's the one that's freshest in my mind is the Dean Ambrose one.
Yeah. So I don't know. I gotta ask him. I mean, he wrote Moxley. Love John Moxley. Alrighty. I mean, I lost my. Where am I? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, next question. Damn, this is a long question. Which superstar became the first person to win 2 Money in the Bank matches when he won the Money in the Bank matches at both WWE 2008 WrestleMania 24 and WrestleMania 25 2009? Is it A, Edge? A, Edge, B, CM Punk, C, Batista, or D, MVP? What? That's his options?
I mean, it's gonna be 50-50 because both A and B have won it twice, but the years was throwing me out. So I'm gonna go with Punk.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it's WrestleMania 24 and 25. So Punk won both events.
Yeah, because he won back-to-back years.
I mean, that's not good options. Batista and MVP didn't even win it.
They weren't even in the match. I don't think they've ever been in it.
MVP was
maybe.
yeah
MVP maybe.
Yeah.
But Batista's never been in the Money in the Bank match.
Alrighty, he's been on both WrestleMania events, but okay.
Yeah.
Well, this is a good question. This one, the longest Money in the Bank ladder match, is it A, 27 minutes and 18 seconds, B, 24 minutes and 38 seconds, C, 29 minutes and 45 seconds, or D, 30 minutes and 22 seconds?
I'm just gonna crapshoot and go answer is C.
You're going with C, 29 minutes and 45 seconds, and you are correct, sir.
Woo!
That one was for WrestleMania, Money in the Bank 17, the one that Baron Corbin won.
Oh my God, I forgot about that one. Corbin winning.
So you got 6 right and 2 wrong. Not bad, not bad. Who has the most cashed in against? So I guess this person has been cashed in. So they were champion. Is it A, Roman Reigns, B, John Cena, C, The Undertaker, or D, CM Punk?
John Cena.
You are correct, sir. He got 3 cash in.
Yeah, Edge, RVD, and then Edge again, if I remember correctly.
No, Edge.
Oh no, Sandow. Well, not
Sandow.
Sandow lost.
Well, yeah, he kept, but Cena got 3 cash in.
Okay, so
Cena, RVD, and Sandow. Undertaker was only once.
Edge.
Punk was twice with Alberto Del Rio and John Cena.
John Cena cashed on him.
And Roman Reigns was Sheamus.
Sheamus and Dean.
Oh,
no, not Dean.
No, Dean Ambrose
it was
cashed
in that match,
but
on Seth. He cashed in on Seth.
And then Seth Rollins. Well, can you say Seth Rollins?
Yes, Seth cashed in on that triple threat.
Yeah, but he wasn't champion, but he was in the match.
Yeah.
So it's
he cashed in on Brock, technically.
He cashed it in to be part of the match. It wasn't like to face somebody.
Right.
It was more like, it's like having an elimination chamber match and cash it in to be part of that match.
Right.
So it's like,
it's weird. It's a weird one.
Yeah.
But you never know. We might see it again if Seth wins and we see it at SummerSlam.
That's true. Deja vu.
Right.
How many WWE superstars had cashed in at WrestleMania? I mean, that's an easy one. Is it A, 1, B, 2, C, 3, or D, none? 1. 1. That's correct. And Seth freaking Rollins. All right. Next question. Has Triple this is the truth and false questions. The last 2 are.
No.
Has Triple H ever competed in the Money in the Bank ladder match? True or false? It's like they're just giving you answers. False, right? It's like, jeez, this guy's just giving you easy answers. Questions, sorry. Big E has won his Money in the Bank contract on his first time competing in a Money in the Bank ladder match. True or false?
True.
You are correct, sir. And that is it, sir. You got 10 right and 2 wrong. Not bad, not bad. Congrats on winning our trivia challenge, even though there were so freaking easy questions. Oh my gosh. I got to start coming up with questions. Come on, Ever. Because clearly when I come up with the questions, Ever gets them wrong. And then when he comes up with the questions and we're trying to make it difficult for people, he makes it easy for them. All righty. But anyways, congrats, Jose. But yeah. One more question though before we head out. Who is somebody that you thought should have won Money in the Bank? Whatever year, whatever. Like like for example, for me, 2017, I think AJ Styles should have won the Money in the Bank briefcase instead of Corbin, because that was a big flop.
Yeah, that was a waste. That was a waste.
Yeah, it was a big pay-per-view, a big match, and then Corbin. I was cool with the fact that he won. It was how the cash-in happened. It was like, what was that?
Right.
Everybody went through that match for what? Just for him to lose in 5 seconds?
Right.
So personally, I think AJ Styles should have won that Money in the Briefcase, and then having him cashed in on Jinder Mahal would have been a great moment.
Right. Even though we did end up getting that as a match and AJ winning, but still, as a cash, it would have been better. Bigger.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would say out of all the matches that I can recall right now, my top 3 would be AJ, Kofi early on in the early matches. I think that would have been a big boost for him, and Shelton Benjamin, especially in the early matches, in the early first couple of Money in the Bank ladder matches. Him winning would have done a lot for him at that time,
especially that year when he became the gold standard.
Right.
And then having the United States Championship and having the Money in the Bank briefcase, he would have took off.
Yep.
And
especially coming off of the heels of Angle leaving and basically Team Angle disbanding, that would have been a good launching pad for him to get him something, because I mean, Shelton during that time was insanely great in the ring, because he had that's basically an Iron Man match with Shawn Michaels without counting the pins. I remember that match clearly from Raw, where they went almost 60 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
And then you had that crazy finish where he went for the springboard across the ring and Shawn just gives him the super kick as he's walking right into it. I mean, that one was a great overall match and a great finish that you can still see in a lot of people's highlight reel packages for that match.
Yeah, that match is Shawn, and and that's the problem. I kind of don't want to get off the tracks right now, but we need more Shawn Michaels.
Yeah.
We need more Shawn Michaels. But the thing is, and when I mean we need more Shawn Michaels, I mean as a worker, not a guy who does super kicks.
Right.
The guy who's just like, I want a story. I want to face him. Hey, I want to face him. Put me in a story with him.
Yeah.
As long as we wrestle for 20 minutes, I don't care what kind of story we have. Just give me 20 minutes with him. That's what we need more of.
And if anything, the closest to that right now is AJ.
AJ Styles,
AJ's probably the closest guy we have to that, where you can put him in with almost anyone and he'll produce something. Something will get done. I mean, almost just working off a tag team with them got him, a little bit higher on the totem pole of things. And almost everyone that he's kind of worked with has usually ended up shining after the fact.
Yeah. But then AJ Styles, he's somebody where it's like, again, that's why I like Austin Aries, because he's somebody you could have anywhere. Right. And that's what we need more of. Unfortunately, same thing with AJ, but the thing is, I prefer seeing AJ Styles in the main event picture, but sometimes I forget that he was WWE champion for like over 300 days.
Right.
And that's why he's not it's just like, we need you wherever we could put you.
Right.
So it's just, but yeah, we need more people like Shawn Michaels and AJ Styles, who just want to work and don't need a title to prove they're main eventers.
Right. If anything, Kevin Owens is kind of like that right now too. He's someone.
I mean, he wasn't at first, but now he got to that point.
He's got to that point where he can, because even this whole thing with the Ezekiel Elias angle, it's
he makes it work.
He makes it work.
Yeah.
Him just being able to make that, and that's actually made Ezekiel probably more higher in profile than probably Elias was, because Elias was a fun character,
right?
But it just never took off for whatever reason it may be. For whatever reason, they could just not get him to launch. Whereas now with Ezekiel, we're working him with Kevin Owens and working this Elias angle, that's actually launched him now. Now he's actually getting some momentum where after this is done, they can probably put him as a challenger for the U.S. title. Maybe not win it, but still be, in that picture and be in that frame.
Yeah, and it's crazy because it's the only. I mean, obviously, the day of recording, Ezekiel and Kevin Owens may be part of the Money in the Bank ladder match,
Right. It could be added on
but
there.
but the fact that is that they're the only ones with the storyline and they're not even part of the Money in the Bank pay per view. It's crazy to me.
Right. And
So
they've done this before too, where like it's been the week of the show, and then they'll start throwing matches up. You know, I can't remember what card it was. Maybe sometime last year where they only had like 3 matches announced
right,
for the whole show, and then like the week of, boom, like 8 different matches got added onto the card, and they had a full card by Showtime. And the matches, I can remember them being good, but they just didn't mean anything because there was no build up to it. It's like, oh, by the way, here's all your rest of your card.
yeah. I think what Vince doesn't understand is that yes, WWE is a global name, but right now he's in the new generation era back in the 90s where it's
Right.
like you have to start fresh because all your big names that help you sell out stadiums, you don't have them anymore. Or you do, but they're just not as they don't draw no more.
Right.
So you have to start over. So that's what Vince needs to do because Vince thinks, oh, well, we're WWE. We could sell out anything. It's like, no. Like, do you forget the roster that you had? You had Cena,
Right.
you had Randy Orton, you had Edge, you even had Punk, Daniel Bryan, Big Show, Kane, Triple H. You know, you have these big names, and now your only big name is Roman Reigns. You know, AJ Styles, but it's like AJ Styles can't just carry the company, and then you won't let him carry the company.
Right.
So, you know, you also have Drew, but then you push Drew to the side. It's just like, and it's like you expect Becky and Charlotte to carry the company. And it's just like, I mean, at one point they did, but they
And
can't do it forever.
And if anything, they're on the downtrend now because, I mean, Becky has been putting in a lot of work since she came back, but still she's a mom now. She's going to have,
Right.
different responsibilities to deal with. Charlotte just got married. So, right now she's, in that whole honeymoon phase. And, eventually that's going to become a thing too, where maybe her and Andrade might want to start having kids, starting an actual family. So we don't know where that's going to go. I mean, Bailey's still yet to return, which maybe she might return at Money in the Bank. Maybe she might be that last entrant. It might be a surprise kind of thing where
I thought she was out for the rest of the year too.
Well, she's been out for well over a year because hers was an ACL injury.
Yeah, and I thought she was supposed to come back after WrestleMania, but then she said that she got hurt after training or something like that.
Oh, I didn't hear that.
Yeah, that's
maybe that could be why she hasn't shown up yet. Okay, yeah. So that might be the why behind it. I was gonna say something too early to how you were describing like some of the stars that they had in the past, which is kind of bugged me right now, is the fact that they have 4 actually relatively big dudes that they're not really utilizing as big men. So you have Omos, which they've made him, a big monster.
Mm-hmm.
You have Veer. Veer is actually coming along pretty good for the amount of hype that they kind of did and how it became a meme.
Right.
But all he's done is just beat the shit out of the Mysterios, basically.
I mean, Rey Mysterio is another guy where he could be the face of the company, but they won't push him there.
Right.
And
then you have
and then you had Cody Rhodes, but Cody Rhodes is out and he's probably not going to come back till they said they're hoping in November, but most likely he's probably not going to come back till the Royal Rumble.
Right. And which will be smart. Bring him back then.
Yeah.
Bigger pop, bigger reaction. And storyline wise, it'll mean more. But like I said, like you have Shanky, but Shanky, they got him dancing.
Yeah.
Just kind of do that. And
they gotta push Drew McIntyre. That he's the only person, and plus he was holding, he was representing the company for over a year during the pandemics.
Yeah.
So I think Drew McIntyre should be the guy again. And it's just funny to me that Roman Reigns is the champion and he's part-time. And it's just like things are changing where it's like last time I recalled is the reason why Shawn Michaels didn't want to be champion and Eddie Guerrero is because they didn't want to carry the company on their backs.
Right.
They couldn't take that kind of responsibility. And not so much Eddie Guerrero, but Shawn Michaels, he only wanted to work television, and then he had certain amount of days on working house shows. Because when you're the champion, you have to work every day. And Shawn didn't want that. He already done that part.
Yeah.
But yet here's Roman Reigns being champion, and he's a part-time, where it's like you have to be responsible to make sure tickets are being sold and stuff like that. But oh well. That's why John Cena's the best, man.
Yep.
All right, well, we gotta wrap this thing up. That's what she said. So Jose, thanks for being part of this show.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
So thank you for being my co-host. So yeah, I don't know how to end this show. Ever normally ends it, and then but all right, I'll try. All right, listeners, this is it for this episode. I'm Ian, and that's my co-host, Jose.
Baby.
And this is, I don't know how does he do it? Hey, ladies. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is it for this episode. I'm Ever, and that's Ian. Oh, okay. And we are out. And then you say bye. You gotta say bye.
Bye.
Doo-doo-doo. Yay!